Assalamu alaikum everyone, and very warm welcome, and thank you for all distinguished speakers today with us. Uh, Today's panel discussion is actually a very important question which many of the beginners in supply chain and even the aspiring leaders looking an answer for their team for growth and expansion within supply chain. So how do I choose right path for my career progression in supply chain? This is a very important question, not only for beginners, but also for leaders who are like making or building their teams. So today we are lucky to have globally recognized accreditations with us, CIPS, CILT, IRU, ASCM, and also we have a consultant, Mr. Abdulaziz with us from MELI. So I'll go with the introduction first. So we have Lobna with us. Lobna, please.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Lobna Almohamedi. I'm the head of operation of SIPS organization.
Thank you, Lobna. Ruth, please.
Hi everyone, Ruth Francis from the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, and I am the Education Strategy Lead for our global operations.
Grant.
Oh,
Thank you so much. My name is Grant Swanepoel from the Association for Supply Chain Management. I'm Director of Strategic Alliances for Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Thank you. Vincent.
Hi, my name is Vincent. I'm Senior Director at RU, so the World Road Transport Organization.
And Mr. Abdulaziz.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdulaziz Alazzaz. I am a consultant and a trainer at MELI.
Thank you so much. Thank you all, and again, welcome. So today, when supply chain is becoming more complex and more autonomous, and digitization is accelerating at a peak, so we have challenges to meet, no doubt, but there are ways to handle these challenges. We need to cope up and be ready for the future, and that's, I hope today's discussion will help you to guide the right track to build up your supply chain career. So to begin with, I would first start with Mr. Abdulaziz. Want to know and highlight the role of local accreditation centers like MELI, how MELI is contributing today, and how it help and guiding the students and the beginners choosing the right career in the path. Mr. Abdulaziz. Yeah.
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me. To begin with this question, I would say local accredited centers work as a bridge between two sides. On one side, we have hundreds of accredited or certificates bodies, and on the other side, we have the reality of market, the employer needs, the skills needed in the market. And I believe like accredited centers connect the two, okay? The second part, they can contribute a lot to understand the local context of the Saudi market. For example, if you read a book written in the UK or in the US, you may not be able to apply it to the local market. But I think accredited centers will help through their instructors, through their consultants, to apply theoretical frameworks to the local market.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. And you rightly put it, that today in Saudi Arabia, not only MELI, there are many other accreditation centers which are really playing their role to guide the students and the locals to cope up the future of supply chain. Now, since we have all major certification bodies sitting here with us, and I'm sure you all have a question that what are the differences? I mean, what value each certification propose, and how it help the beginners and the leaders to choose the right pathway. So I'll go one by one. And my question will be to you that what are the core strengths each qualification provide? So I'll start with you, Lubna, please.
First, thank you for everyone. Thank you for MELI that I'm here. It's a critical question, and I received it from many people of which direction I have to take, or do I have to start with SIPs, or do I have to take other things? So it's as simple as, let's start from beginner. The first question always I receive, do I need it or not? Okay, and always I'm telling you personal level, and if you are a director of organization and you have your employee, imagine you send a doctor or a man to do a doctor job without a certification. We are a SIPS, it's a short from Chartered Institution of a Procurement and Supply Chain. So we are handling the procurement and contract department and the whole supply chain idea, okay? So if your work based on anything related with procurement and contract, you have to build yourself from scratch in the procurement. So how can I do this? So if you are a fresh graduate, my advice to start from beginner to take level 2, which Mr. Abdullah like it, okay? And it will give you the guidance. Some people, they tell me, no, I prefer to take 2 or 3 years experience and then back and study the certification. Well, you will miss 3 years guiding, okay? You don't know even this experience that you'll take it in which strategy you will put it. Actually, SIPs give you strategy, give you the mind thinking as a procurement, give you how to be aligned with the company, and remember, whatever written there in the contract, which is you're going to take it through SIPs, it will going to guide the whole journey of the supply chain. So please write it very well and let it to pace in the knowledge. Okay?
Thank you, Lobna. I'll move towards Ruth from CILT. So please, Ruth.
Thank you. As our name suggests, we started in initially transport well over 100 years ago and then moved into logistics as well. But we do recognize that logistics and transport is the how. It's not necessarily the full picture, but it's obviously a pivotal part. So for us, our qualifications try to capture the broad spectrum of logistics and transport, all its modalities. And I think often when we think about logistics and transport, we probably think about the movement of goods, but also people. The movement of people is a huge part of that. So for us, where you've got procurement and supply, we now look at all the different modalities for the movements of goods and people. So when we're talking about transport planning and urban logistics, we're also looking at road transport. We have programs around the world in driver training as well, construction logistics, all of the different sectoral breakdowns is where we've sort of made our niche. But what we try to do is represent all of those through optional modules throughout your career. So even if you want to pivot, you know, careers are no longer 25 years in the exact same job, the exact same company. What we try to capture is the broad house of what logistics and transports represents. So there's something for everyone, I think, through CILT.
Thank you, Ruth. So I'll take further to you to Grant from ASCM. And I will add to what Ruth said, that it's not only about your early career, also to pivot during your mid-career or your high career. So should individuals specialize early in the career? They look for a foundation, and of course, we also need to hear the core strength of ASCM certification. So in addition to the core strength, would like to know, should individuals start early in their career or in the mid in the career? Yeah, please.
So I'll take you on a bit of a journey with ASCM. So ASCM actually started as APIX, the American Production and Inventory Control Society. And that name sounds like it's something from the 1950s, right? And that's because it is. 1957, the organization was started. And throughout history, although I'd say in more recent times, we've seen a shift in the way that organizations and individuals are seeing and understanding what a supply chain is. And I always have liked this sort of analogy around, companies do not compete with each other anymore. Supply chains compete with each other. And supply chains are not just about a specific functional area within an organization. So APICs focus on more operations, production, inventory, and almost saw those things differently, and we have similar journeys in that sense for other organizations too. But ASCM now offers I'd say a broad spectrum and different levels of supply chain certifications, certificates, and foundational level training as well, with specific focus areas on certain content like procurement, supplier relationship management, warehousing, resilience in supply chain, technology in supply chain, and how those aspects relate specifically to the overall supply chain. So I think where ASCM, what ASCM offers to the market is an option in terms of how you can see your overall strategic view of the supply chain when we look at certifications like the CSCP, the CPIM, more recently the CTSC. I know I'm just putting out letters here, but I think that's where ASCM fits in generally in that end-to-end view of supply chain as a function across entities. And then I think you had a further question on that as well.
So the further question was that professionals should start early in their career, these certifications, or later after having some experience?
I think it's a balance. I mean, to be honest, it really depends on the individual and their career journey. I always see it as if it's a toolbox, right? You have your toolbox of different skills that you need in your supply chain on your journey. And I want to move away a little bit from saying that certification or that certificate is the one you should do. The first step before that is, what skill do I need in my career? And can I get that skill through my experience or through training in the organization or through an external certification? So there's many options around that. But I think starting with that helps you decide what the right certification or certificate or even body is that you want to go with.
Thank you, Grant. I'll move towards Vincent. Vincent, should transport and mobility professionals choose the right pathway, and where does IRU fit in?
Thank you for the question. So to choose the right pathway, my advice would be to combine three dimensions: the competence, so what you can do, the credentials, to have evidences that what you've done is recognized, and the recognition itself, making sure that what you've done, the certificate you've made, is recognized across the industry, across the borders. So when you select a new certificate, I think you must pay attention on how it has been designed. Has it been designed by an expert? Is being delivered by an expert, that has a full experience, real experience on the ground about the topics is delivering. So that's the first thing that you need to look at. The relevance of the certifications and the down-to-earth practical knowledge that is going to be shared. The second one is the recognition. You need to make sure that the certificate you're going to get will work and will be recognized across the industry, across borders. And that's all the value of your certifications. That's something that you can demonstrate, that you can prove. And then probably something, when you look at certifications, we should look at how well and how regularly is it updated. You have standards that are changing, you have legislations that are changing, you have new technologies. So you need to make sure that those certificates are well up to date and regularly being updated. So we do at RU, we have programs, we have courses that are internationally recognized, but I wanted to give you the main elements for you to decide which are the best certificates to choose for your pathway.
Thank you, Vincent. So I hope you heard all of them and you understand a little bit the differences and the core strengths they offer. Now let's look at from the employer perspective. I mean, what organizations looking for from professionals, and how does these certifications help to build those skills? On that note, Lobna, I would like to ask you, what specific behaviors or capabilities these certifications help to reinforce for professionals?
Well, in SIPs, I believe in the behavior, the daily behavior will change, and the understanding of exactly what is this action affect the whole company, not only the PO that you are looking at. What I mean, you have a huge ability to be a super in negotiation. It's not only to negotiate verbally, no, you have to study and build a file of a negotiation. You will move to have the first thing that you have to have it when you're being in the procurement, ethics. Ethics is the first thing that take it with you, and it should be taken as a certification from SIPS. Why? Because many normal a daily attitude of you, we don't consider it as an ethics. So this is the common sense of anyone who would like to be in a procurement. This is number one. Second thing, the commercial part. When you build a PO, don't say, I want to finish my work and that's it. No, the commercial, what's the benefit of this thing? How can I sell it then? And you have to think in the selling department. And this is very important for us in a procurement. So we are not only building a person in a certain place, we are building a consultant in this company and this organization. We consider our student a consultant. We support them while they are level 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or 6. And they are study it as exam or take it as an applied learning by assignment. We support you in this thing. Why? Because we build a strategy also in yourself. So anything will going to be as a daily action. No, it will be a strategy. You plan it and you do it, and you know exactly why you are doing this. We go deep inside your understanding of a procurement and how this affects the stakeholder, how it affects the whole company target and the strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Lobna. You rightly said that these professional certifications does not only help you to build hard skills, but also help you to build discipline, integrity, and ethics within your work, what you do. Now I would like to move towards Grant. Grant, I want to ask you that today with the digitalization, automation, AI, how these things reshaping the skill sets required, and how ASCM helping professionals in this?
Such a topical question. And actually, we have an annual report that we do, which is a top 10 trends in supply chain management. And I don't want to reveal too much, but I'm actually going to. But AI is the #1 trend in supply chains right now, according to our report. And it was last year, and the year before it was second, and I think third the previous year. So it's still very strong. And within that list, there's also elements like data and how we use big data. Blockchain automation, etc., has been on the list as well. Automation is actually very high up on the list this year as well. But those technologies, I think if we go back and look at any technology that has been discovered or created in recent times, it always requires a different skill set, right? And we can go way back in time and look at when vehicles replaced horses. Right, a different skill set was required, a different type of individual was required to support that industry and support those technologies. So it's exactly the same thing in today's day and age. So I'm just starting off by saying it's not that different from history where we have new technologies and we need to be able to do that. I think where it's a little bit impactful now is the fact that technologies like AI will be used to do tasks that you would have had to do yourself. Like if I was a demand planner, I would have to sit and do the specific analysis or the numbers. Now AI can do that, right? So within our courses, and actually we've just updated the CPIM certification, which is launching February next year, a new version of that. And in that, we focused very heavily on the skill set needed to be able to analyze information and understand direction versus doing the physical work, if I can say that. So we're definitely aware and very aware, in fact, of the impact that it's having. And when we update the content in our material, we actually do what's called a jobs task analysis. That jobs task analysis looks at what we need now in terms of skill, but also what we might need in the future. So that informs some of that content too. I think it's moving so quickly that we will probably be out of date again next year, but we'll have to update that as we go. But yeah, very, very interesting topic, so thanks for the question on that.
Thank you, Grant. Now I'll move towards to Ruth. Ruth, this is a very interesting question, and most of us are interested to listen to this. So from employer's point of view, these certification, how it helps or influencing in hiring decisions, promotions. So how these professional certificates help or influence?
So my background is not logistics and transport. I'm very much an educationalist. And so coming from a very established profession, I know what it is to be an educator. I know what qualifications I'm looking for. When children are in school, you know, children will name engineering, teaching, medicine, accountancy. But logistics and transport and supply chain is somewhat of a new profession. That's why we've started to see universities over probably the past 40 years starting to now offer out these bachelor's and master's degrees. So I think for employers, because it is a newer profession, having a certification gives them some reliability, I think, in the people that they are hiring. It also helps them to probably spot that the person they're taking on is open to their own learning and development. Because as some of the panelists have said, this is a rapidly changing industry. You don't want to be hiring people who are closed-minded, who just want to take that job, sit in it, and don't want to grow, because the industry is changing year on year. We want people who are open to going out and learning. So I think the credibility, but also that openness to a self-directed learner and employee is a really important signal that you get from certifications.
Thank you, Ruth. You rightly said it, that the certification does not only help you to grow or learn quickly, but also it gives you a chance to be a part of greater alumni, where you meet your alumni and you learn from their experiences across the industry as well. Not only in your industry, but across the industry, you get to know the best practices. Thank you, Ruth. I'll move towards Vincent. Vincent, we know today there is a pressure, regulatory pressure, compliance pressure to move towards greener transport. Yeah. So how do professionals today contribute in achieving their organization CSR score, and how does IRU helps these professionals to achieve this goal?
Well, it's a very broad topic in the question you raised. There is one thing that is common to this industry is when you raise the professionalization in our industry, you raise the standards. Yeah. So you improve safety, you improve efficiency, you improve sustainability. And you know that many companies now are working to decarbonize the logistics and transport. So there are many ways to do that. There is, for example, alternative fuels you change. But studies have proven now that above 50% of CO2 reductions will primarily come from efficiencies. Alternative fuels is one solution, but the major solution will come from efficiencies. More efficient drivers, more efficient logistics for more efficient vehicles. So this is where the companies, the drivers have a role to play. If they train, and I will give you maybe 2 examples. If they train on eco-driving, for example, that's a way to reduce not only your fuel consumption, but you have an impact on the cost management of your fleet. You have an impact, obviously, on your competitiveness, and you have an impact on CO2 emissions. So that's one way that you can do. We were talking about professionalization. If you go to, and there is a program that you're delivering, the Certified Transport and Distribution Program. That's a program which is basically give you a well-rounded of the profession, the pros and cons of the different modes of transport, the fleet management cost, the maintenance, the safety, the environmental aspect. So the more you have drivers and managers that are equipped with such knowledge, the more you can have an impact. And maybe my last comment would be, and I think we talk about AR, we talk about investment and so on. About training, it's important, but make sure that when you train somebody, you have a follow-up KPIs, a way to monitor the increase in performance. Because that, otherwise, it's a bit wasted. You have half of the price of this investment. So sometimes what we see, we have the investment in training, we have investment in the people, but we don't monitor what we would expect from such training. And that's a game changer, because it's a learning curve, as is being said earlier. And obviously, we help companies, we support companies into these kinds of programs, also companies to be more efficient. Because usually one of the drivers is not only the CO2 emission reductions, it's the efficiency. The more efficient you are, the more capacity you have to invest and obviously to reduce CO2 emissions.
Thank you, Vincent. I would like to go towards Abdulaziz. Abdulaziz, in the opening, you mentioned the role of accredited centers. So I would like to go in deep and want to know the advantages of having accreditation centers, local accreditation centers especially, which helps in building contextualization and also bringing the international courses and adding a local content in that. For example, MELI is working with CILT and offering the courses in Arabic. So we wanted to hear more from you, these type of advantages which local accreditation centers provide and helping the talent to align with Vision 2030.
Thank you for your question. It's a very important question. As you said, Vision 2030 is focusing and investing massively in supply chain and logistics. It is the backbone of this vision, I would say. So having the right people who are educated, who knows well about supply chain and logistics will help this nation to improve and to work efficiently. So accredited bodies, local centers understand the local market very well. As I said, through their consultants and trainers, they will help people to apply different theoretical frameworks to the Saudi market. I believe if you get a certificate from accredited local centers, you are not only getting the certificate itself, you are getting a full package of mentorship, of navigational guidance to go through these certifications and be equipped with the needed knowledge.
Right, thank you so much. And you rightly said that it navigates the professionals how to build the career, which certification or what will be the right mix. So thank you so much for clarifying this. So we spoke about different certifications. We went through their core strengths. Then we heard also what employers or organizations looking for. So let's talk about the future needs. And for this, I will go back to you, Lobna. We just talked about the hard skills. But apart from hard skills, what soft skills require to be future ready? And how does CIPS help in this?
Let's say, Ather, to be honest with everyone, that, and as Bert, you mentioned the AI, okay? So we care about our work and what is the future and how can we be ready for this future. And always I have here 2 points. First, imagine that everything related with technology in one day just disappear. We don't know what will going to happen. So we have to be educated and we have skills, right? Number 2, and this is what I'm saying for everyone using technology there to help us, support us, and make our life easy. Be careful to not control us. So always in the procurement side, I'm telling the buyer and I advise them, use it as a tool, but don't let them to use you. You have to have a skill. The first thing of the skill, I see it as a compassion.
Indeed.
Okay, compassion. Yeah. The second one is to have a high communication skill. You have to communicate with everyone. You have to talk with your client. Okay, so this is for sale. Okay, you have to talk with your supplier to understand their problem and support them sometime. And this is what about in the part of the SIPs of the relationship, the supplier relationship. In this way, you can have more than one soft skill. Sometimes they mention a leadership as a leadership. No, you have to make a leadership. It's from the soft thing to understanding your employee, to understanding what exactly end user asks for as a request. okay, to be close in this level. Yeah, I remember for my personal experience when I was a buyer, some medication, I go to the market and buy it and send it to the doctor, and no one know about it. It's out of the procurement box. But this is, we are a human being at the end. And just for your information, more than one company, without mentioning names, and a huge company in the size of the global, when they want to build an AI or something related with the procurement, they back to SIPs. They back to what a human being built. So you have to be careful in this, build a soft skill, believe in yourself, and believe in what we said, أنا حاسس إنه مو okay. Yes, it's not okay. You have to redo it and think about it in the other level. Thank you.
Thank you, Lubna. You rightly said we should have robust skills of stakeholder relationship management. Ruth, Lubna just mentioned the fear of being relevant. We don't, because the changes are happening very rapidly. So how does professional certifications like CILT help to stay relevant in the industry?
I think Grant's already said it as well. Chances are in 12 months, whatever we've created will be out of date. So it's not to say the certification isn't valuable. I think we also probably have to consider what comes along with that. When you go with a professional body or an association, what you're also getting access to is the people working in the professions. But more importantly, you're getting access to the technology innovators, because they are the people right at the front. They'll innovate, they'll approach the supply chain companies, the logistics companies, etc. They'll bring in their technology, and then through that, and through professional discussion, trialing that technology over and over again, getting reliable results, cost efficiencies, etc., that's when it becomes a new accepted technology. But if you want to stay right at the forefront of it, the certification is great, but those professional discussions, those expert forums, and the ability to interact with the technology innovators is a really important part of that holistic certification process. So it's not to say the certificate itself isn't valuable, but look more broadly at what else you get through that, and access to the global movements that are happening and the global innovations as well.
Thank you, Ruth. With this, Grant, I would like to ask you that is it important for future supply chain professionals to be a specialist or to be a journalist or a hybrid profile? And how does ASCM help to build such profile?
It's a question I get a lot, especially from people that are going into the industry and trying to figure out what they should study and those kind of questions. So it's the difference between what we call a T-shaped person and an I-shaped person, right? Very deep and detailed, or broad and general. There's arguments for both. But I think that as a supply chain professional, the very nature of supply chain is broad. The very nature of supply chain covers many elements, and if your goal is to be a supply chain director or operate at that level, I do think there's an element of generalization that is needed. But it's also specialization in the ability to connect the different components of an organization, and not just within the organization, but also across your channel partners like your suppliers and customers and others as well. What we are seeing now very commonly, especially around the green supply chain and environmental topics, is the cradle to grave, or now cradle to cradle component of supply chains, and how products are disposed at the end of their life cycle, and all those kind of things, and how we design products for use, reuse, and stuff like that. So I think being more general has got a lot of benefits in it, and we have certifications that are probably more on the general side. I'd say CSCP, for example, is a bit more strategic. The CTSC, which is a bit more helping an individual think about how to identify opportunities in a supply chain, quantify those opportunities, and then solve the problem, is something that would probably be helpful as a supply chain professional. But it is a journey, right? You have to have the understanding of the skill in order for you to get there. So let's go with hybrid.
Thank you, Grant. Vincent, I would like to ask you about the future skill sets required for the mobility profession. We know digitization is rapidly growing, but on the other side, we have challenges of safety and security as well in the mobility industry. So, what do you see? What future skills require? Secondly, how are you helping in this professions to build future skills?
Thank you. You're right. The new trucks now involve a lot of new technologies. We're talking about ADAS safety technology. We're talking about smart tachographs, efficient routing. So obviously we need to train on that, and there are regular training that update that make us more aware and that can help us basically manage those technologies. I fully agree with what has been said before is you need soft skills as well to complement communication. You mentioned it. I think, and I use one of your examples when you said we don't need to, basically the technology needs to be a tool. There are companies now that are using that tool to profile drivers, for example, or managers. What are the competencies that are missing today? So instead of what like this 5 days in a room, in a classroom for full training, and maybe only 10% will work for that person, now they are profiling exactly what are the key behaviors, what are the key skills that are missing, and they are targeting their trainings. It may be 2 hours, 4 hours, half a day, and then they are training those people. You're more efficient. You're not mobilizing your people because it's still a people industry. So you want them on track, you don't want them in a classroom, right? So that is a kind of technology that you can do for training. For when you're recruiting as well, there is a solution where you can train online or see online what are the capabilities of these drivers. And you pre-filter basically the people that you are interviewing. So there is ways to be more and more efficient, and I think technology in that sense will help us more safe, more efficient, and more sustainable at the end of the day.
Thank you, Vincent. Vincent, I know you have to join another session, so we will continue, but we would like to thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And you can please join Eamon he will guide you to the main hall, and we will continue our discussion. So thank you for having with us
Thank
today.
you very much. Thank you very much.
So, Abdulaziz, I would like to go back to you and would like to move towards closing. So, what takeaway note you would leave today with our audience? What will be your closing remarks after the discussion we have today? So, I'll go one by one, starting with you, Abdulaziz. Your closing remarks or takeaway notes you wanted to give it to our audience, please.
Sure. If I have to give one piece of advice, I would say be strategic. Don't confuse activity with achievement. Many young professionals are seeking famous and most expensive certifications because their friends are doing so, or because it looks nice on LinkedIn or something like that. Certifications is not rubies. Certification is a tool, as he said. Choose the right certificate that will help you to get where you want to be in 5 years from now. This is my advice to you guys. Thank you.
Very humble advice. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Grant.
Well, now that Vincent has gone, I'm going to steal his point that he made earlier, which was about using your certification or certificate or your training in a practical way. So actually seeing the return on the investment of that. And I think the way in which you do that is you prepare or plan an intervention or an initiative in the organization that you work in or in your own career that's going to use the content that you now understand better. So I think that's really important. We're trying to make a metric called ROE, Return on Education, which I think really talks a lot to that and making sure it adds value ultimately to you as an individual or to the organization. And I just want to finalize this with saying this is quite a historic panel discussion here. I was actually in a very similar panel discussion a few weeks ago with Mr. Tassan here as well, also all the industry bodies. And ASCM's key message is let's make the world better through supply chain, and I think that's what we're all doing here today.
Thank you, Grant. Ruth, what piece of advice you would leave with our audience today?
I mean, the return on education thing is really interesting, and I'll have a chat with you later. But traditionally, just so you know, tertiary education, the return on investment for the amount of money that you put in is it goes up in a bell curve. Your primary education impacts your earning very substantially. Secondary education continues, and ironically, weirdly, tertiary education, it starts to fall off. Professional education does not give the same return on investment as other stages. However, professional education has changed vastly over the past 20, 30 years. So I would hope that that's changing. The certificates themselves, don't just look at those. Like you said, it's the start of something. It's not the end goal. The application of learning in the workplace, the innovation in the workplace, testing that knowledge and those theories and seeing how it works in practice is really important. And so I would encourage you to look at the broader certification body. What else are you getting as part of that? Are you getting special interest groups that perhaps nurture young women in logistics and transport? Are you getting a student body and a next generation forum that is designed to mentor you along with your certification? Are you getting a presence in the markets that you're interested in, where you think possibly you might want to move in the future? So the certificate is the start, but not the entirety. So look broadly at what you get as part of that.
Thank you, Ruth. Lobna, towards you.
Maybe it's a similar of my colleague when they mention it, but I noticed something, so I have to talk about it. It's about, yes, to be focused. Many students that we notice, they focus in exam and then certification. It's not exam and certification. If you will come to SIPS, it's the whole journey. Try to invest like every day 30 minutes reading what is there inside the box. The box's value, it's SIPS, an age of SIPS is 100 years now. SILT, how long? It's 110? Yes, yeah. Something. It's a long experience of many people, a serious experience. So when you get the book, please read it. One guy told me he gets Apex within 1 week. I told him, so you didn't get anything. You have to read it, okay? So please read the book. Invest in yourself. This is yourself, not anything. Take your mobile away from you, 30 minutes only, and read.
Thank you so much for all of you to giving a piece of advice. And I would like to close this session with the humble note from Mr. Abdulaziz that it's not only about getting badges or getting certifications. Being a supply chain professional, we should feel responsible that we are the one connecting the world. And the way we connect it, it should be sustainable and with ethics and integrity. So with this takeaway, I will close the session today. I would like to thank you, all of you, and to all our distinguished speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ather.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you too.
How are you?
Good, good, thank you.
Is it the first time being in Saudi Arabia?
I said probably 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Been a lot.
Someone come.
How are you? How are you? How's everything?
How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you finally.
Alhamdulillah.
It's been ages, but